Whatever you say after the word but is what people walk away carrying. For example, I love you, but I need to think about this. The person discounts the first part and just lasers in on the fact they've been wobbled by the last part. I want to go, but I'm exhausted. Most people discount the first sentence and just hear the last one as communicating, I've got more important things to do. I think you did amazing, but your wording could have been a lot better. I think you're a great guy, but you get the point. Your brain is biased to believe that whatever you say before the word but is what matters, but the other person's brain says, ignore the first part, just focus in on the last part. Here's why this matters. When you deliver enough sentences like these in your relationships and interactions with other people, the real cost isn't just miscommunication, it's the fact that people can never fully relax when they hear your positive sentences. Because after hearing you say enough times, I love you, but, I want to, but, I agree, but, they learn to anticipate the catch, which is why they suck in a breath and brace themselves whenever you're about to say something positive, because they've learned to believe that the positive is a warning signal of a negative thing that's going to come and slap them across the face. So here's what to do next. To make sure the other person walks away carrying your positive message and it lands, and to build trust in the relationship, don't change the content of the sentence, just change the order of it. In other words, put the negative before the positive. For example, don't say I love you, but I need to think about this. Say I need to think about this, but I love you. Don't say I want to, but I'm exhausted. Say I'm exhausted, but I'd love to come. Don't say I think you did amazing, but your wording could have been better. Say your wording could have been better, but I think you did amazing. And if you're on a first date with someone and you don't want to take the connection further, do not say I think you're a great guy or gal, but say, look, I'm not going to take this connection further, but I think you're a great person. That way the person walks away carrying the positive, and in these cases the connection feels safer. So basically what you're saying is don't put your butt in someone else's face. Yes. For example. Now, that is the main takeaway I want you to have from this whole video. So if that makes sense, feel free to click off now. But if you want to go a few minutes deeper, then here's the psychology of why this works. When the negative follows the positive, it's more sticky, mainly because of two reasons. Two cognitive biases. You might have heard these before. The first one is the negativity bias. And if you've watched any psychology video, you would have heard a bloke at one point say, oh, your brain is wired to focus on the negative. Yes, it's true. Because if your brain can pay attention to potentially negative things in the form of sentences or a rustling in the bushes, then it can escape and avoid being eaten. So your brain is always going to prioritize the negative rather than the positive in a sentence format, which is why it's even more of a blow when the negative is the last thing. Additionally, the person walks away carrying the negative when it's the last thing in the sentence because of something called recency bias. Recency bias is you just remember the last thing that was mentioned. That's the mechanism of the brain, which is why it's so effective when you flip the script from I love you but I don't like this to I don't like this but I love you. The person walks away carrying the last part. So the way you structure your communication determines what people remember most, essentially. But there's one more reason as to why flipping the script, or two more reasons I think, as to why flipping the script is so effective at a deeper level. Now, the second to last reason as to why flipping the script is so effective is, coming into this reason, we now understand negativity bias, right? A human brain is going to be much more primed towards the negative. But in a roundabout way, when you address the negative before the positive, or before anything else, you actually stop the other person's brain from scanning for what's wrong. The opposite of this is, and you'll know this, if you are socializing with someone or you have a relationship conflict, but no one's addressing it, there's an elephant in the room and it's just left there. Everyone's trying to be positive in the face of the elephant in the room that clearly needs to be addressed. How do you feel in that situation? You feel tense, you feel awkward, you feel like there's a constant threat overlooming the positivity, and you probably feel resentful. But when someone finally addresses the elephant, everyone relaxes. So the key takeaway here is When you try and disguise the negative with a positive, people feel tricked. But when you address it, people feel relieved. There's research that backs this up, which showed that when you label negative or distressing emotions with words, you reduce the activity in your brain governed by the fear-based regions, and you increase the activity of the logical, rational brain regions going on up here, which means that when you put the negative before the positive, people's defensiveness decreases, their cooperation and collaboration increases, and the positive can actually land because they don't feel tricked and the elephant has been clearly addressed. So I really like that. Run to trouble whenever it comes to conflict. Address the negative first. Now, the last reason why this is so effective is a bit of a deeper layer when it comes to relationships. Reassurance. The more I not just research relationships, but am in my own relationships, the more I live my life, the more I realise that the strongest relationships in any domain, friendship, romantic, are built on many things, but they are built primarily on continuously answering the questions of, are we okay? Are we still together? Will this work out? In the positive. And funnily enough, flipping the script is a way of answering these questions in the positive, because when you say, I don't like what happened, but I still love you, that is just a way of letting the other person know that you still have skin in the game, and you're willing to give your negative in order for your positive to land, so that the relationship can continue to work out. Because again, with this example, flipping it, I love you, or I love you, but I don't like what happened. Ooh, that's going to put these questions on shaky ground. So I really liked that layer. Anyway, I'm waffling too much. Was there anything else I wanted to say? Yeah, putting the negative first is a way of showing the relationship is still standing. Right, it's boiling hot in this room, summertime in the UK. Anyway, that is the video done. Thank you very much for your time and attention. Stay disciplined, playful and dangerous. Remember that the way you structure or organise your sentences determines what people walk away carrying. Adios muchachos y muchachas.